Okay, just got through eating me a little meal here. Okay, I was talking to a brother earlier, and this brother was talking about why you have so much anti-blackness in Latin culture in Latin America. Why is the black people in Latin country live in impoverished? And I told him, I said, well, I can break this down real shortly. I said, let's go back almost hundreds of years, damn near thousand years ago, 1,200 years ago. Well, a little bit further than that. You had the collapse of the Western Roman Empire. The Roman Empire collapsed into basically two empires. You had the Western Roman Empire and you had the Eastern. The Eastern Roman Empire was controlled by the Greek-speaking world. In the Latin part of the Roman Empire, the West Roman Empire, which stopped at Albania, which is all France, where you got France, all that shit, Gaul. Well, back then it used to be Gaul and Germany and shit. All that's going towards, after you get out of Albania, you going to in ancient Europe used to be the old Roman Empire, Western Roman Empire. So the Western Roman Empire went into decline due to countless numbers of Germanic tribal invasions like the Lombards, the Goths, and all these other Germanic tribes that invaded and took over the Western Roman Empire, and they got what's somewhat Romanized, but the Western Roman Empire went into decline. So you have Spain, or the Iberian Peninsula, which is Spain and Portugal. They all was conquered by the Vandals. The Vandals, these Germanic tribes, conquered the western part of Spain and what you call Portugal and Spain. Back then, it was the Western Roman Empire. So what happened was that part of Rome fell into decline. And basically it became they became barbarians and shit. That's how you had all them Vandal tribes, and then the Vandals went into North Africa and held North Africa for an amount of time, a couple of the western provinces that were in Roman control in North Africa at that time, which is Tunisia, parts of Morocco and shit like that. Well, during the beginning of the first 682, the Islamic Caliphate, after the death of Muhammad, expanded into North Africa. And when it expanded into North Africa, it quit. But they didn't have enough Arab forces to hold the north. So what they did, they converted the people that they had there, the Tuaregs, the Berbers, and other tribes that were there, including a couple black Tuaregs, because a lot of people think Berbers that consists of mostly what you call pale-skinned Berbers, but you had the vast majority of them were black because out the Sahel region. So all these African tribes under the Umayyad Caliphate invaded Spain under Ibn Walid Razul. They went into Spain. He went and aimed his sword north and said, we will conquer that. So they went into Spain and conquered all the Iberian Peninsula. And keep in mind, they were at that time, when they got into Spain, the Spaniards were living with their animals and shit. They didn't take baths. They didn't do shit. For all you Latino people, y'all white, y'all the ones say better the race, them white Vandal Visigoths and shit that were there when the Moors, the black Moors, motherfuckers that looked like me came, they was living with their animal husbandry and shit. They weren't taking no baths, washing their ass, and none of that shit. For all you Latinos who inspired to better the race to get white, I'm breaking this shit down for y'all. So the black Moors, motherfuckers that look like me, we conquered Spain. Not only did we conquer Spain, we started building Spain. We built all the infrastructure, made public baths, told the your Spanish, white, Visigoth, Vandal ancestors that they need to wash their ass. Hell, how the fuck this flag did? They need to wash their ass. So we taught them how to bathe again because they stopped bathing when the Germanic tribes come. They didn't take baths. They were barbarians. So we showed them how to wash their ass, soap, and all that shit. We built all the structures in Spain. And some of the old Roman forts, we rebuilt them. So we built added structures like the Alhambra. If you ever go and look up the Alhambra, you will see it. One of the most beautiful Islamic structures in Islam. We built that shit. So the black Moors, or the Moors, we built Spain. Well, it went from the Umayyads, then it went to the another caliphate, tell me, what's the name of that caliphate? I just thought about it. The Rashidun Caliphate. And from the Rashidun Caliphate, they expanded and they tried to invade France. But Charles the First, or Charlemagne, defeated them in France, so they went back down into Spain. And keep in mind, the French were living nasty and shit too. They didn't believe none of them white folks up there in Northern Europe didn't take baths, but the white folks will tell y'all they're so superior. Them motherfuckers didn't even take baths and shit. Even in they was throwing their shit out the windows in their castles and shit all the way up into modern times. But anyway, let me finish. So it turned after the Rashidun Caliphate, it turned into the Umayyads. The Umayyads did a lot of projects and shit in Spain. Built damn near all the all the infrastructure. You see old infrastructure down there in Spain, like the Alhambra, the all the shit that's in Barcelona and Madrid. The Moors built that shit. They put public lighting and shit up where there was none. They did a whole lot of shit in Spain, these black Moors who were Muslims. Well, eventually, due to infighting, the Moors, they went into decline, and King Ferdinand and Isabella took control over it, and the Moorish Empire fell and collapsed into disorder after they took it. Now, this around the time Christopher Columbus came. Isabella and King Ferdinand took control of Spain, and they drove the Moors and the Jews out of it. And this is where your anti-blackness come in, because they went into Africa doing the same thing. They seen people, the same people that conquered them, they had a deep hatred and resentment of them because you had these black people taught their ass how to be civilized. They taught them how to be civilized. The Moors taught them how to be your white Visigoth, Vandal ancestors, how to be civilized for all you Latinos out here who thinking we gonna better the race. We taught them motherfuckers, them Peckerwood crackers in Spain how to wash their ass. So that's why that anti-blackness spread all the way down there to them. And that's why y'all have anti-blackness in the Latin community, because the whole fact that some niggas like us civilized their white ass.